Come here. Get off.
Today we're talking to Taiia Smart Young, pronouns she and her. Taiia is a writer, educator, author, and digital content creator. She teaches aspiring authors how to package their genius to write and self-publish short but powerful nonfiction books that create influence, impact, and income. Yes, income?
That sounds good. We always like income.
That's right, because ain't nobody trying to work for free. She's been a long-time partner.
Sorry.
For 20 plus years.
They've already got enough of our free time, okay?
Listen. Okay, so she's been a long-time partner for 20 plus years to the guy who turned down her invitation to the prom.
How dare he?
How dare he? And you still welcome in your life, in your
Yeah, I did. Exactly. All up in here.
How can this just the quick top line story? First.
Yes.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Yay.
So, how did the guy that turned you down for prom turn into 20 years Carpenter Bay?
My baby father. My baby father. So what happened was we went to high school together, and we were friends in high school, and we both were kind of crushing on each other, like from afar type thing. And when it came time for prom, nobody had asked me to the prom. So I was like most popular female in school, and what else was I? Miss Journalism, and
they were scared.
No, I don't think they. Well, you know what? My mother said they were scared, so I might have to agree with you. But I'm like, I'm your girl, I'm your homie, I'm your friend, and nobody asked me to the prom. Right, exactly. You gonna pass all of this? And it was skinnier back then, but you gonna pass all of this? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna ask who I want to go to the prom with me, and I asked him. Got up the nerve. Can you imagine? I got up the nerve.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going with X. And I was like, wait, y'all broke up though. Why are you going? But me being critical, right? But y'all broke up. Why are you going to the prom with her? And she was a junior. So, but the thing that I came to learn is that he's very loyal. He's very faithful, very of good stock, right? So I was like, all right. So then fast forward, of course, ego is bruised. Fast forward, and he bumps into my brother because my brother had gone to high school with us too, and he bumps into my brother like years later. My brother's like, yeah, you need to take her out. She's home from school on a break. She don't got a date. Take her out. Right. Running all my business.
Thanks, brother.
So when he gives him the number, I try to play hard to get. Like, I'm just like, I'm busy. What you doing? Like, I got dates. And we went out on one date, and fast forward, it's like 20 plus years later, and we got a kid and everything. So that's the long short story of how the guy who turned me down for the prom. I got the wedding out of him though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got the wedding out of the big prom with only
exactly
people you want there. So.
Exactly.
Pick the colors.
Exactly. That's the best part of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, okay. Now that you was like, fuck they prom. I'm gonna plan my own with my own theme and everything.
Exactly. And I didn't want to get married, so that was the other thing.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, let me go back and fix what I'm saying because that sounded crazy. Right?
No, it didn't.
Okay. No, it didn't. Okay.
No.
Because I saw my parents who were like, they loved each other, but they were like, right? So I was like, oh, marriage makes you crazy. Don't want that. Nope. Don't want none of that. And so I happened to fall for the guy who was like, nah, I want to get married. I want to have a family. And I was like,
marriage.
I was against this marriage thing, and you want kids. I didn't want none of them either.
And now you got 2 extra hearts.
I got 2 extra hearts. I got the big heart and a little heart. So,
that's so nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so even before prom and all of that, we know what you do now, which is just fucking
be dope.
amazing. You were like,
try to be dope. Yes,
people
thank you.
actualize their dreams. What did little Taiia want to be when she grew up?
A writer.
Always.
I love it.
I declared I was going to be a writer in the 5th grade.
Yes.
I announced it to everyone who would listen. My mother took me seriously, and she was like, "Okay, writers need to have books. They need to go to the library, and they need to learn how to type." So I always tell this story that I thought one summer I was going to the Y. My mom put me in typing school. Who does that?
Mavis Yo mama was young.
That's how I learned how to type with Mavis Beacon. Yes.
Listen, I wish I learned how to type with some Mavis Beacon. I learned how to type on it wasn't even electric.
Click, click, click.
I learned on the manual typewriter, and then we got to electric. And I was the only kid in the adult class because my mother was like, well, there's nothing in the rules that say she can't be here, so she gonna be here. Okay, I paid the fee, thank you, bye. So that's I've learned how to type at a really early age, and I knew in the 5th grade I was like, I'm gonna be a writer. Didn't know any writers, didn't know how I was going. And my big thing was, I'm gonna write for Essence Magazine, okay?
Oh, and you do. Look at that.
Exactly. And that was my first job. Look at God. God was busy. God was busy blessing me. Because that was I had an internship at Essence, and I was so thirsty. I let everybody know I wanted to work there. They must have been like,
what you have to do though.
But they must have been like, let me get this little girl out of here. Because you know when your internship is over and they're like, being all nice and like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, I want to be back here. What you mean? What I want to do? I want a job. And so I think that was my junior year and my senior year. Thank God for for sorority sisters, for the Deltas, for my sorors,
Yes,
because the sorors, because one of she was an assistant editor and she was getting promoted. And she was like, listen, do you want to? And I had taken a job just to get money. I had taken a job with the federal government, and she called me. She was like, listen, I'm getting promoted. I'm going to tell you what you need to do to get this thing, but you're going to have to take it home. And I was like, what? Give me the ball. We about to do a layup. What? I'm out of here. And that's how I ended up at Essence.
Wow.
That is so dope. I love it.
Yay. Okay, I'll ask you who that was after we finish. Because our little world is small.
Exactly. It's very small. Very small.
Wait, okay. So I realized I've known you for a minute. Mm-hmm. But I guess I've never wondered, but now I kind of do. Where'd your name come from? As one person with an interesting name to another person with an interesting name.
My name is my grandmother's name. My grandmother was Sojourner Taiia, and I am Taiia Sojourner. So we out here.
OMG.
We out here with the truth. As my friends call me, Sojourner with the truth. Yeah.
That is the best.
Right? I love being named after my grandmother. And, growing up, though, that's kind of like when you're growing up in the 70s with a name like Taiia, I didn't really grow to appreciate it until later because people always mispronounce my name, as I know you have experienced. And so I just always wanted something that was easier. And it was like, as I got to appreciate my name and just I'm being named after my grandmother, I'm like, nah, I don't want easy. I don't want easy at all.
Not easy.
Right.
And it just makes you so much more memorable.
Absolutely. And I went to a small HBCU, so any kind of dirt that I did, Taiia, that was, there's only one.
It was
her. Exactly. She did it. It was her. Shout out to JCSU, Johnson C. Smith University.
Oh, yay.
Yay.
We love a good HBCU.
We love a good HBCU. Yep.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
What inspires you to do this work?
You mean help people self-publish their books?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's the true story? No, I just feel like self-publishing gets such a bad rap. Right? Because we've all seen the book that clearly wasn't designed, the cover wasn't designed well. You look inside. You look inside.
There's errors on every other page.
we swim through a lot of shit to find some sugar.
Right.
Well, not a lot, but we swim through a significant amount of shit. Yeah.
Enough, right. So you see the font is not right. And it's just, what happens is that people have a passion for storytelling. And so my thing was, I had done taking a class on how to market a self-published book, because I had a deal that fell through. And I was like, you know what? I'm mad, I'm tight, but I'm still going to write something. And I was like, why don't I just take my years of experience being in, magazine journalism? I could be my own ME. I know how to do that. I can hire an editor. I can hire somebody to take my picture, make me look pretty, and put me on the cover. Okay. So I took all those skills and self-published a book for teen girls. And so what happened was, it's called Famous: How to Be the Star of Your Show, a teen girl's guide to embracing her fabulous self. Yeah. And so it's a little part memoir, because it got some of my teen stories in there, a little part workbook, because it has some places for you to journal and fill out questions about yourself and that kind of thing. And it comes from the place of girls are already fabulous. You just need to be reminded of it. And so, right? Girl power, right? And so what for people, they would ask me things like, well, how did you do that? And you know how it is when you've been in the business, you're like, oh, but I just did the thing. I did. And it's like, no, people want to understand that. And so what I decided I wanted to do was, because the class that I took was more focused on how to market your book and make those dollars, I was like, let me help people who want to actually get published and make it look good. As you said, you swim through a lot of things, so make it look good. And that's always a challenge. And so that's the thing. I wanted to help people make their product look really good. Look like, wow, this is self-published. This is of quality.
That's what's up. And we, it's really important to us that we support indie authors on this.
Absolutely.
So it's dope, to hear about how you are doing that too.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I imagine that a lot of your work was already virtual before the Rona came.
Yes.
But I'm interested in knowing if it has impacted things at all in terms of the way that you work with new writers.
The way that I work with, I don't think so, because it was already, I had said it. So here's the thing that I understand about new writers is that they need a lot of coaching. They need a lot of hand-holding and reassurance. And that's not something that everybody wants to do. And I didn't necessarily feel like it's, you can't just tell somebody, well, go ahead and write your chapter summaries and then come back to me in 6 months with your 10 chapters and your first draft written, because they've never done it before. So I do a lot of coaching, and we get on a Zoom call depending on which package that they pick, monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, we get on this Zoom call. And a lot of times I feel like I'm a therapist, because you're helping people work through whatever blocks they have, whatever fears they have. If it's a story that's super personal, there's one woman I'm working with, she's writing a memoir, and she grew up in shelters as a young mom, and now she runs 5 shelters, right? Wow. She's a VP. And so it's when we're talking, she didn't even realize, she was like, oh yeah, I have this story. She wanted to write about something else, and I was like, nah, this is the story right here. So it's those kinds of things. It's you got to coach people. You got to get on the phone with them. You got to walk them through what's working in their story and what isn't. And that part I really do enjoy. But it is also, that part of it can be very exhausting too, because it's how many calls I got today? I got to be on. I got to be sharp.
Yes. And did you have are you in the emotional place to want to do that, right?
Yeah. Because someone can be talking about their story about being homeless. It could be a sales story. It could be, so the stories run the gamut, and it's I have to be fully present and give people what they need. So there's one woman I'm working on with, she's writing a book about her experiences having threesomes. And so it was is it hot in here, or is it?
I don't like it.
Is there a puddle? Because I was so aroused. I was okay, we're going to have to put this in, down and come back to it in a minute.
I still have to do a memoir. Okay, so yeah, that just reminded me. We did say we were going to do a memoir.
You guys are doing a memoir, a joint memoir?
No, like for the show.
On the show.
Oh, okay, on the show.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
It's been difficult to find memoirs that like meet the brief, right? Like, because they need to have really good sex scenes, they need to move conversations forward. But we would love to do something that really explores someone's life.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. See, so you understand where I'm is.
Where you is. So, with all that said about you helping new writers, developing writers birth their projects, what do you wish all Black aspiring writers knew before they hit you up?
Ooh, that's a great question. What do I wish they knew? That they're not alone. I think that's the big thing that we when we come to writing our stories, whether it's a story about sexual awakening or a memoir about coming from this place of, I grew up in shelters and now and being a young mom, because she entered a shelter when she was 23 and already had 2 children. Wow. And so it's like that. 1, you're not alone, and that 2, your story can actually help someone. Like, I loved when Robin Roberts used to say that she still says it, that her mom says, make your mess your message. And so I do feel like a lot of times that's what it is that I'm really trying to work with people. Yes, I want them to package their genius and be able to sell that, but it's like, if they have this message, then it's not, maybe, okay, we got it. You're not going to get to deal with Random House, and you're not going to get to deal with Penguin, but there is going to be someone who is maybe in your church, in your youth group, in your whatever organization you belong to, they're going to be affected by your story. And that's still important, and that's still valid.
Yeah, I like that.
Sure. So last week, we read an excerpt from a short story called Parking.
Yes.
And it featured a couple that was branching out from their normal shit, trying to shake it up. Does this need to shake things up ring true to you as somebody who's been partnered for more than 20 years?
You always got to shake it up. You better shake it. You better shake it. You better smack it up, flip it, rub it down. Oh no.
Oh no.
Okay. In the words of, our ministers, Belle Biv DeVoe, yes, ma'am. Because so we've been together since our 20s, and now we are, we're seasons. We're in our 40s. So the things that you even liked in your 20s, it could be that's not the same thing, or it doesn't do the same thing for you anymore, right? And there's more of me to love now. So that's another thing. Oh, thank you.
You coming in here, you like, oh, I hope this nigga ain't gonna do this again. This don't work no more.
Actually, what it is he's told me that he feels like my sex drive has increased. And I was like, yes, I'm in my prime right now. I want it all the time.
I love it.
I'm in my prime. He's like, what is wrong with you? I'm not a machine. I was like, be a machine, damn it.
Get your vitamins and do what you gotta do.
Exactly. Like, it's kind of flipped, because it was like in the 20s, it was like, horn dog all the time. And now you're not used to me being this way. Like, so.
Like, my knee ain't working. Figure that shit out. We got things to do tonight. Fuck your knee.
Well, me, I'm like, oh, but you had time to go cycling, though, because he's a big cyclist. So he does like the 5-borough bike tours and all these different kind of tours where it's like 40 miles. And I was like, you could do the bike tour, but I can't get none. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Hope you drank your water. Because I'm going to get mine.
I love it.
Always.
Okay, so in the story, Stacy's partner, Vivian, parks the car a little ways away from the house so that they can have sex like they used to when they were dating in their early days. Mm-hmm. So what's the most surprising thing that your partner has done to keep you turned on? So the thing about parking was I was like, oh yeah, we park still. Okay. Well, not in the pandemic, but pre-pandemic, depending on what Brooklyn street you might have rolled down at a certain time, you might have caught my car with some fogged up windows. Yes. I love it.
Because it's okay. So here's the thing: when you're with someone for that long amount of time, do you know how everyday shit is boring? Like, you got homework, right? When the kid is little, you got laundry, you got dinner, you got work. And so it's so easy for you to fall into a sexual rut. And that's not saying that we haven't, but we've been really conscious of like, okay, we need to do things to spice it up. So yes, we've been in a car or two.
All right.
Won't say how many. And there was not too long ago, there was a scene in a location that we had not been in before, and I was like, I feel like there's cameras in here. Let's stop.
Fuck it. Fuck it.
I was like, is my ass gonna be on the news? Let's stop.
Details. And
They see your face.
Exactly.
I see, that was the thing. I was concerned. I wasn't quite sure where the camera was, because if they can only see my back, then I wouldn't be worrying. But if they can see my face, and it's like, I'm on the news. I'm on the cover of the Daily News. I'm on Channel 7. No.
Yeah, well, I have a tramp stamp, so anything on the back, they'd be like, oh.
That's Erica. Come on, that's Erica.
Have y'all had to adjust? Because your son came home.
Yes.
During the pandemic.
He done slowed everything down. No, he didn't. Oh, no, he didn't. Let me not tell that lie. So, my son has said to me, when he came home, he was like, listen, I just want you guys to know that the walls are not as thin as you think they are. As thick as you think they are. And I was like, word. Word. Not even embarrassed. Just like, I feel like, dude, you done came. I knew you had a good time in Virginia. You coming up in here trying to ruin my good time?
You're like, oh man, that's messed up. That's real messed up.
I was like, word. He was like, I had to put my headphones on. I was like, that's what they're for. That's what they're for. And turn it up high.
Yeah. I bought those expensive ass headphones for a reason.
Exactly. So, yeah. So that's definitely been different, because it's like I was so happy now to have walked around the house naked, and now I have to remember to grab a robe and those kinds of things. So, yeah, it's not. And every once in a while, I will still try it. I'll try to be like, listen, and see if he's in his room. And the bathroom is right by his room. So I'm like, if I run really fast, butt naked through the house, I can get to the bathroom before he opens the door. So,
I mean, it's worth a shot.
I mean, I do it. So far, I have not gotten caught yet. Let me not go somewhere.
Listen, that's your house. Ultimately.
Exactly. It is.
It's going to be embarrassing for him, not for you.
That's what I try to say. But he'll get me, because he'll say something like, why they hang so low though? And I'll be like, you busy looking at them.
Get out of my house.
Exactly. You looking at them young titties in school and stuff. I'm like,
yeah. Disrespectful.
Yes. Very.
Lord. So what have you found works to keep things like, so I heard that y'all have sex in different places. Mm-hmm. What else works? I'm trying to take notes, because I'm still early.
What else works? I think spontaneity, because I think a lot of people, I know some couples like to plan sex, and I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't. I think if you always feel like, oh, Wednesday's the night. Like, did you guys see Little Fires everywhere?
I was just
yes.
It was like, it's not Wednesday anymore. I was like, oh my God.
I would literally, you do some shit like that in front of me, and I'm gonna like masturbate on your leg. Like,
right, like, ooh, I just don't see. To me, that like kills the spontaneity. That kills the vibe. What if I'm looking good on Tuesday and I'm not looking good on Wednesday? Right. And my thing is, with my husband, I'm always like, hey, when I'm all looking cute, you ain't trying to attack me. And you wait till this head wrap is on. I done got the cream on my face.
But then they can always say, I love you no matter what you look like. And then,
I'll be like, it's a lie. You just horny. You just
Exactly.
like. But then when I'm like extra like dressed up or we're going somewhere, I'm like, no, you're going to take advantage of this package today. And then you ain't going to wait till I put my PJs on and then try to get on my bones. Like, take me out the dress. And take me out the Spanx.
Roll them down.
Roll them down. You know I need to hold everything in place.
I don't know.
Mine should be wibbly.
See, thank you, Erica.
And that's
Thank
okay.
you. It is okay, but
This guy told me, he was like, because I've been gaining weight, and I'm like, oh, I'm gaining so much weight. He was like, that's fine. He was like, I like to smack it and watch it roll.
no, they love a reverb. They love a little reverb. They love a little it's like, get into it. If that's what you like, okay.
If that's what you like, okay.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of bodies, like, how do you make time to be in touch with yourself and your body in the midst of being like a partner and a parent and a bad bitch entrepreneur?
That's a good question. I feel like sometimes I fail miserably at that. And then sometimes, like today and yesterday, I'm high-fiving myself. I'm like, you woke up early, you got your workout in, you washed your hair. You're winning, right? It's exactly. That was a lot.
That's hours right there.
And that was like, what? The hair alone, okay? Get into me deep conditioning under here, okay? So it's just like... It's just a lot of time, but I really just do try to just make time for it. Like, it's like if I notice that I'm like completely off, it's like I need to get some time in just to be with me, to say my prayers. I don't even call it meditating because I'm just talking to God. Like, listen, I'm always grateful. Start with my gratitude prayers first. And then I'm like, listen, here's some things that I've been struggling with. And I need you to help me in Jesus' name, amen. And I'm very specific, being just like very specific.
Yeah,
I don't leave anything to chance, but I've had to really work on that. And then I've realized though, is that in my 30s, like I've realized, oh yeah, I like myself. But then in my 40s, I'm like, yo, I really fuck with you. Like you my girl, right? Yeah. You just start getting into yourself. And so that's when I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put a little self-love journal together because I've started seeing that you know how you look at some of your girls and you're like, you're so bad. You don't even realize like you need to big yourself up. And so, that was one of the great things about the quarantine was that I was able to take out, I had plans on having like live journaling workshops at venues, and I just had to take that thing to Zoom, and we had a good time. I've done it 4 times. Called Love You Mean It Live.
Was on Love Jones. You used Love Jones as a prompt, right?
Okay, so that's a whole other thing. So that's my whole other vibe. I can't. So that is the write and sip. So the write and sip came from me going to like 20,000 paint and sips and coming back with all these ugly canvases because I can't paint. But now I did more drinking than I did painting, right? And so I was like, what can I do? What can I do? And I was like, oh, I'm gonna do a write and sip. And so I I had the idea this was the third one. This was the first time I have had a theme. So I did it before the pandemic, and I was like, oh, going to do Love Jones, and everyone was into it. That was like my first sold out one. It's really, they're intimate. They're like 40 people. A few men come through, mostly women. And so people have been saying, are you going to do it online? And I kind of put that in the back of my mind, like, yeah, I'll do it online at some point. And then the pandemic happened, and it was like, well, we're going to do it online today.
This is my website.
Exactly. What we gonna do is we're gonna give you this link and you can just sign up promptly. But that was so much fun too because it was all about love and relationships and all the prompts were based around things that Nina and Darius went through, and it was like, okay, how does this apply to your life, and what has gone on with you? Because you know that scene where they're at the steps, Nina and Darius, and they give that kiss goodnight, and you know it ain't the night ain't over. The night ain't over. Exactly. And so we had a great conversation and wrote about one night stands. And listen, we had a talk about, well, they could not give me any stories about a kiss. These women were so triggered. They were like, no, if I talk about that kiss that I got, they were like, I will get pregnant right now. I was like, oh.
Like, I'm not supposed to be calling people to come over after this.
Right. They were like, my husband don't know about that kiss. Okay. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, no, we had such a good time. So those things have been fun in terms of being quarantined. It's like I'm able to do some other fun things that I didn't know if they would translate in, online, but they did.
I love
thankfully,
it.
Thankfully,
and it's like opened your group up to more than just people in New York. Like you can have people all across. You're in New York.
Absolutely.
New York.
I am Brooklyn. Yep.
Yes, you said Brooklyn. Yeah, so it opens it up to anybody. So I like
that. Yeah. And that was like the best part of it, because the Write and Sip itself was done in Brooklyn. It was done 3 times in Brooklyn. And I was like, oh yeah, the 4th one, it's going to be in June. And then I was like, we didn't know we were going to be in the situation we're in right now. So I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know when the next one will be. As my son says, when they open up outside.
When outside
opens up. Right. Right. So we'll see. But for now, Zoom has been good to me.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And that leads me to my next question. What does success look like to you?
Success. It's interesting because I don't know if you ladies were like me, but at one point I used to, in my 20s, I was really caught up in titles. And then I'm like, I realized, you don't want to be the editor-in-chief of someone's.
Yes.
Remember?
Lord,
sorry. I'm wait. I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was editor-in-chief. I forgot. Listen, because it stopped being my dream it stopped being my dream. And then, it did happen. Right.
Yeah, it's
I was not anymore. I had to leave that life alone.
But it's like when that thing is your dream and you get caught up in your title, and then even if you get as close to your dream, or in your case, you got into your dream job, and then you see it's like Richard Pryor in The Wiz, right? In The Wiz, right? When the curtain open up and they see Richard Pryor back there, you're like, I don't want to know how this thing is made, but you have no choice. When you are the EIC, you have to see how everything is made. You have to see behind that curtain. And so
we apologize. Kenrya's feeling some things right now.
I know she's having a personal moment. She's having a flashback. She's being triggered. A lot of trauma going on over there. I decided that success for me at this point in my 40s looks like me being connected to my passion. So I want to serve in terms of making sure I help people write the stories they want to write. Whether it's when I do Rock Your College essay with teens and I make it fun, because writing is not fun in school, right? You have to write these papers, you have to analyze these things, and they don't enjoy that. So I try to make the college writing process fun in terms of that personal statement. With the journaling, the live journaling, I want to make it fun and approachable, and I just want to bring the joy back to writing and creating and sharing your stories. And so that, for me, that looks like success, along with being able to pay these bills and have this indoor plumbing situation happening. pay T-Mobile, and go on a trip or two. Like that's really important to me. I think the growth is what happened. It's like, you get caught up in titles and I need to make this amount of money. And it's like, but if it didn't make me happy, right? Yeah. And that's the thing.
It's so wild because I totally think about, I went through a period where I was really driven by I felt like I was defined by my success at work. And then I transitioned to a job where it wasn't, it was just like, bitch, you get a check every 2 weeks. And
you here for health insurance.
Bitch.
Okay.
You're like, I need to get my teeth done.
Exactly.
And it really was it was like a crisis in my life where I'm like, what am I doing? Who am I? And now that like I don't give a fuck about that, like it's really because I am like definitely in a 9 to 5, but now that I'm like that's that, but let me pursue what I want to do with my passions.
Right.
I feel like life has opened up and I'm living
liberating.
a whole different,
It is.
yeah, so.
But that's you learning about yourself. That's me learning about myself. That's Miss Former Editor-in-Chief learning about herself.
We can cackle for days.
Exactly. You know, it's
I
like,
love you though.
and you think that title is going to make you happy. And it's like, you know, I'll be happy when, I'll be happy if. And it's like, no, it doesn't always line up that way.
Not at all.
That's
And learning to
their
be
plan.
comfortable with that because you spend so long thinking this is what it's supposed to be.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, and figuring out what does bring you joy, though, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think the other side of that is you may be like, okay, this ain't it.
You
But what is it? Here we go.
joy when I'm dead.
I love a
Yes,
good
girl.
Anita Baker interlude.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I always
that.
sing.
She
I'm sorry.
does.
I shouldn't have.
No, I'm familiar because I've listened to the podcast, and you're totally fine.
Thank you.
She's always singing.
I was gonna say for me, a change is not difficult because I'm a Pisces, and we already got one fish swimming up and one fish swimming down. Listen, when I get my fish to swimming, we just got to go. Like it's just you just
That's
gotta
real shit.
do something else. And the thing is that the job probably that I had no idea I was going to fall in love with was when I worked for Girls Incorporated. I worked for a nonprofit for almost 5 years in the communications department and did not think I was going to love that job. I thought I was going to be there for a year, ride it out. I had just come off of being unemployed after 9/11 happened, and I had just had my son. I think he was really young. I think he might have been like 8 months, 9 months at that point. And I loved that job. Right. I just thought I was, okay, this is going to be a good experience. I can use my skills. I'm transitioning. That's the way I was thinking. But I loved that job. I loved the mission of Girls Incorporated. I loved the department that I was in. I loved that I was able to grow. Like, that's how I learned to do workshops. That's how, because everybody's out here like, you know, I'm a boss, bitch. And okay, but where'd you learn how to be? Where'd you learn how to be a boss? Right? Because that's my thing. I want to take each experience and then grow and then have these and be able to be like, yeah, I'm a boss because I've done X, Y, and Z. So I learned how to give workshops at Girls Inc. from Girls Inc. I learned how to ghostwrite from my time at Girls Inc. I learned how to speech write from Girls Inc. Like there was just so much that I learned, and I learned about leadership. I learned about watching this fabulous, phenomenal Black woman, Joyce Roche, come in from, had a corporate background, and she came into nonprofit space, and she brought some of the benefits of having that corporate sensibility and getting us the money that we needed to run the organization. And I didn't work for the satellite Girls Inc. that around the country that worked specifically with girls day to day. I worked in the national office, and so we were responsible for all the brand messaging and the communications. And so it was such an awesome place to be for me to soak up so much, and then be like, yeah. So if someone says, "Have you ever written a speech before?" Yup, I sure have. Right? I've done the thing.
That's great. Okay, so if you're anything like me, you have a big ass pile of books in your office, in your bedroom.
Oh man, I wish you could see right now.
That's like, I am gonna be read. So what's in your to be read pile?
Oh man, okay, so this is a mixed pile. This is like my to be read and some things that I've read. So I have Warrior Rising by Mary Ann Howland, and this is by a sister who wanted to have her son surrounded by five like influential Black men, or just Black men. He didn't have his dad in his life, so she wanted to make sure that these Black men were kind of like his, community of go-to men that he could go to. So I'm looking forward to reading that. What else do I have over here? I have She Begat This, which I'm rereading by Joan Morgan. Because I love me some Lauryn
Yes,
Hill.
Joan.
Yeah. And then because I've been working with a lot of people interested in doing memoirs and more kind of like funny stuff, I was rereading Tiffany Haddish's The Last Black Unicorn. And then I also have Notes of a Black Chef. Is that the type? Notes of, yeah. So I'm looking forward to reading that because I've heard so much about it. And just looking forward to diving into those things. So it's a mix
eclectic mix. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm a Pisces. You know, the fish. I try to keep it fresh, Eric. I try to keep it interesting.
I like it. I'm a Gemini, so I need the.
Girl, you know.
You know what?
I know about y'all Gemini.
Didn't nobody need that.
I'm just gonna say I know about you. I know about your kind.
Yeah. I'm an Aries and don't none of this ain't it.
But you've surrounded yourself with Geminis. You might so deal with it.
Lord have mercy, you people.
Okay, so I like to get a little random.
Okay.
Would you rather have sex if you had to like just strictly sex only in one place for the rest of your life? Would it either be in the car or on top of the car? Inspired by our book, Parking.
Look at you.
I'm gonna take on top of the car.
Yeah.
For 2000 because you need room. See, the thing about having sex in a car is you have to be strategically positioned. If you're in the back seat,
a woman of a size and an age, the knees don't work and them thighs don't fit.
Okay, see, I'm not there, but I'm going to understand. I understand what you're saying.
I was like,
but my husband is like 6 feet tall and I am 5 feet, so that presents some.
Wait, you don't even look that small, and your angles are great.
I'm giving you what, 5'8", 5'9"? No, I'm here. Like if I not at all. If I step out the chair, you won't see me. Like,
I did not know that you were shorter than me.
Yes, I'm shorter than everyone. I'm shorter than everyone. My son, when he was 11,
5'2" 3/4.
See, you got me by this much, but that's still an impressive amount to me.
Well, I'm 5'7".
See?
Are you?
And you thought I was giving you 5'8", right?
No, she lies.
Because the thing is, I used to say all the time to Kenrya, I'm 5'7", and she would take it. She'd be like, "Okay, I don't know.
Anybody that's taller than me,
So this bitch started going to every doctor's appointment with me, and they'd measure me and weigh me in front of her. I was like, you know what, bitch? HIPAA, shut up. Don't tell nobody.
Exactly. Where is the Hippocratic oath when you need it? Yes. Silence. Do not share my height or my weight. Thank you very much. But on top of the car, because it gives me more room, more flexibility, more space.
I like it.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm not getting any taller, but still, you just need that space.
It ain't that easy. Last time we did in the car, my partner pulled a cramp in his stomach. Because we just ate a good meal at the casino.
See?
That is, I'm sorry, I almost snorted. That is the most like, we went on the boat gambling, and he hit it on a penny slot.
I was thinking that, and I was like,
home and
she had her coupon. She had her coupon for Sizzler.
We went to the classy casino. We went to the classy casino, and then
she had her coupon for Sizzler.
It was like a babysitter situation, and we ain't want to wait. So,
damn.
Okay. Yeah, it was fun until he caught that cramp.
Well, listen, I can't lie. Like, it wasn't a stomach cramp, but my husband, because he rides, he gets a lot of Charlie horses. Mm-hmm. So we've been there where we've been like, and he's like, I feel it coming, and I'm like, are you all ready? Like, what? He's like, no, the Charlie horse, get up.
And you just gotta stop, and it's like, oh, I guess I should be sensitive to your situation, but also
exactly, exactly. And then half of me, I'm wondering like, so are we done or is
like,
okay?
Do you need some more water or you
okay? No, it takes a minute for him to walk those Charlie horses off. It's it takes a minute. So
You can fuck them Charlie horses off. But all right, I'm sorry.
no, listen, those Charlie horses are so distracting. He can't walk, so he can't do anything else.
No leverage.
Right. Erica has no sympathy.
Nope, none.
Mind you, I'm the single one, so I'm like, when I get a man, it's gonna be like, no, bitch, it won't. Just shut up. Grass is greener. So.
I guess.
Yes.
So I would love for you to tell the people where they can find you when they finish listening to this show, because they're going to want to look you up.
Okay, they want to find me on these internet streets. They can definitely find me on IG. That is my favorite and preferred platform. So I'm at Taiia Smart Young. Do you need me to spell my name out? Because that's a whole other thing. Okay, so that's TAIIA Smart SMARTYOUNG at Taiia Smart Young on IG. And then also my name from my website, TaiiaSmartYoung.com. You can find me on there as well. And I got some freebies on there for the writing folks that they may want to put their pinky toe into some things. So we got some writing prompts on there, some freebies for y'all. So yeah, check it out under the freebie section.
Head on over there, grab those, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. This has been a most delightful happy hour, sex hour, whatever you want to call it.
I need more of you in my life.
Me too. I didn't want to look too thirsty because when you sent me the link, I had it oh, okay, I got my free that day. I was like, because I think your email was from here to August. I was like, August next week.
Bitch. I love it.
I'm glad you did.
Me too. Thank you so much. I had a ball, ladies.
So did we. And now that's it for this week's episode of The Turn On. Thanks to everyone for listening, and we will see you next week.
This episode was produced by us, Erica and Kenrya, and edited by Ballistic. The theme song is from Brazy. First, please leave a review in your favorite podcast listening app. For real, we want to hear from y'all. Send your book recommendations and all the burning sex and related questions you want us to answer to theturnonpodcast@gmail.com. And please subscribe to the show in your favorite podcast app. Follow us on Twitter at The Turn On Pod and Instagram at The Turn On Podcast. And find links to books, transcripts, guest info, and other fun stuff at theturnonpodcast.com. Bye.